dude, there's pigeons everywhere, right? And these
Oh,
kids are
yeah.
running around and chasing the pigeons. And I was like, get ready, because you're not gonna know what to do if you actually catch one. And I think it's similar like that with wealth. I think people they just don't know what to do once they build the wealth and once they have the money. So they just keep on hustling. What's up, guys? Tim Bratz here with my boy Mark Evans. Mark, I'm Rich.
Now what? What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, happy summer. I know we've both been traveling a little bit. I'm actually in Venice, Italy right now, and having a great time. Took the kids, flew into Naples, hung out there for a few days, went up to Rome, hit all the hot spots there. Then we went up to Florence, spent a few days there, and now we're closing out the trip in Venice. And thought it'd be cool, man. And, to live right and have a conversation and on what we're living and how we're traveling and how what we talk about is real life for us. And I know you got a lot of travels that you've been doing too. You were out in the Hamptons and taking some trips this summer too. I know you were out west as well, right?
Absolutely, man. You gotta be careful saying I'm rich too loud in where you're at. They might kick the door down and take your money or watch or something. Who knows? They're like,
Dude,
that guy's rich.
yeah, dude, I did not bring any fancy watches. I told Kate to leave the rings at home. It's
Yep.
like, dude,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Why? I don't need to show it off, right? I know what we have. I know what we can do, and all those kinds of things. Like, dude, why make yourself a target, right? And so,
Yeah.
but at the same time, dude, I haven't felt unsafe at
No,
all while I'm
no.
over here. Not even in the least amount. And Venice especially seems very, very safe. And dude, it's like 120 islands that are here anyway. So if anybody steals your stuff, it's hard to get anywhere. So you can
Yeah.
track them down and chase them, throw them in one of the canals.
That's cool, man. Yeah, so I just got back from the Hamptons late last night. We drove actually, Tim. It was a cool, fun road trip. I haven't done that in a very long time. 11 hours from where we're at to there to the Hamptons, East Hampton. But it was cool, man. We took the kids to a kids camp, a high-end kids camp. Invested like $4,500 per kid for the week, which sounds absolutely crazy, depending who's listening. And it is crazy, no matter who you are, actually. But it was really neat to see what happened. Met some really cool families, really cool kids. And at the end, from 2:45 to 4 o'clock on a Friday, they were doing pottery, so they had to teach us how to do pottery on the wheel. So Mark worked with me, Tria worked with Dina, and it was like to show them how to create grit, overcome, educate. So that's kind of the alpha structure. Is like they're teaching you how kids to share and connect and go keep pushing forward when you don't want to. A lot of life lessons adults can learn as well. But it was neat to see, man. And then I had a lot of reflection there, dude, because I've been going there. Me and Dina went to Montauk for 12 years in a row back in the day, and it's changed a lot. What we're seeing. I'm not sure what you're seeing over there, but obviously it's different in culture and all that. But I thought it was really a breath of fresh air. At the same time, I hope people are paying attention to what the shift is going on, because there's a shift happening right now, and it's not a bad shift either. I think it's a very good shift.
Well, I know we were talking a lot offline about this, and I think that's a great. You were sharing some of your bullet points, right? On just kind of like reflections and thoughts that you had while you were over there. And I think that those are great topics to hammer out while we're here. So like let's go through some of those things. You're out there with a bunch of other people, right? In the Hamptons, and you guys are all sending your kids to this camp, $4,500 per kid per week. And dude, it's entrepreneurs, it's former CEOs, it's big legacy family money, and some of the people that you met are like we would all know, right? And which is pretty epic and pretty awesome position, obviously, to like put yourself into. But there was a big shift of some things that you saw where it's not like the hustle culture, right? That I think a lot of us, um, start out in business and it's like hustle, 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 work your tail off, make sure you're doing the right things and working hard at it. And then once you build up that wealth, what does it look like thereafter? And a lot of these folks have that timeline underneath their belt. So like, what are some of the things that you saw, some of the things that you wrote down as you reflected on the people you met, the conversations you had, the folks that you ran into?
Yeah. Well, a couple things, but before we get started, just to be clear, like what was cool. I mean, I meant multi-generational wealth, like some people in the second, third, fourth generation, and I'm talking multi-billion dollar wealth, as well as founders that just made their own money. And I'm telling you right now, I'm standing in their houses. My son's playing with their son, kids, daughters, playing hide and seek with their 2.5, 4 year old, whatever. And I'm telling you, dude, like they're the nicest people in the world. These are cool people. You walk in, they got the chef, they got the nanny, they got the house cleaner. That it's imagine the house. Like, I mean, these are, multiple 8-figure houses. We're just hanging out. Like, dude, it's not. I don't know about you, but like when I grew up poor, I always thought rich had to look a certain way, talk a certain way, act a certain way. If you saw these people on the street, you would have zero clue they have any money at all. They're just everyday people like you and I. So it started getting me thinking. It's like, because again, I really did suffer from, because I grew up so like in that mindset, like I have to look a certain way, I have to sound a certain way, I have to do a certain way. So like for real, I've talked about this openly. Like I'd be smoking cigars because I thought rich people smoke cigars. I was literally in a 1987 Chevy C10, windows down, sweating my ass off, listening to opera because I thought that's how I'm going to get rich. You got to listen to opera. Only rich people listen to opera. Like these are the things I was telling myself. This is like 1997, right? So I realized, dude, these are nice people, right? There's bad poor people, good poor people, bad rich people, good rich people. Like it's not. It doesn't matter about the money. Nothing there's about the money, even though like we're all chasing it, right? We're trying to build it and get it. But so that was one big thing I always think about is like, and Dean and I were like, man, because right, we're always worried about that. We've talked about that in multiple shows about our kids, raising them with wealth and all that. Well, dude, the truth is the guy I was hanging out with, that's going to be my son one day, right? Second generational wealth. He's done it. He doesn't really, there's certain things he's doing now. The cool thing is this guy's made his own life. He's built multiple, he's exited 7 companies already. He's 46 years old. He's cool. His wife's exited multiple companies. They're in this and that. They're hustling. Guys at the coal mine are hustling right now. Guys in the blue collar trades are like, hustle is a lie, dude. Because what are we hustling on, right? Just because and by the way, we're all about hustling, but what are you hustling on, right? Some people are hustling dime bags still. Why other people are hustling the big game, right? They're moving ships, cargo ships. It's probably not a good example, but that like gives you an idea, right? Some people are like, dude, I'm the biggest real estate we've experienced this. I'm the biggest investor in my town. It's like, dude, you do 2 deals a year. What are you talking about? They literally feed their ego with this hustle lie, like they're doing a lot. And yes, maybe they're working hard, but they're hardly working on the right things. Like, why aren't you working on the right things? The truth is, and I kept writing this down over and over when I was there, what do you want? I don't think most people know what they want. Therefore, they just work on things to say they're hustling, because that's what we're supposed to do, because that's the world we live in. Hustle, hustle, hustle. If you're not working, you're lazy. But dude, they're working really hard on getting stuff they actually don't even want at all. And I believe it's happening. There's a reckoning coming, and we should talk about framework thoughts and all that. But what's your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, man, I think there's a basket of goods that we get sold, right? When you're on the rise, when you're going through school, that this is what the expectation is, and here's how you're going to make a bunch of money, and you become an entrepreneur, and you got to hustle, 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 work your tail off, and then you get to a certain point, and I think it's like, oh man, this is not the basket of goods I thought I was getting, right? Like this is, it's full of a bunch of rotten fruit instead of like really the exciting stuff that I thought I was going to get into. And it feels a little bit empty. It feels a little bit like, oh man, I feel like I almost wasted my time, but I don't think you do. I think you, as you're going through this journey of growing a business, dude, you go and make $1 million, not because of the $1 million. And with the, I think the optionality, right? And being able to have options of having the money is a great and a fantastic thing. But more importantly, it's like, who am I? Who do I have to become? I had to be really nice. I had to understand how to build rapport. I had to give a shit about other people and actually figure out what they want. I needed to solve problems for other individuals. I needed to, like, there's a lot more to making $1 million or $10 million or $100 million than just making the money. It's the person that you have to become in order to attract that much money into your life. That's the key, And I think that's what a lot of these folks that you ran into, right? All these super high wealthy people, like they've gone through that. They've done the work on themselves individually. And I feel like once you get to that and you realize, oh, it's not the fancy cars. Oh, it's not the fancy watches. Oh, it's not the, the material possessions that I think get highlighted on social media and in marketing ads and those kinds of things. And you realize like that leaves a level of emptiness for me. Like I don't really care about that stuff. And they start pivoting and they start asking themselves these questions. Like, what do I actually want? Right. I've been chasing what other people want or what people told me that I should want for a long time. And that's not what I want. Right. Like, let's get clarity on what are the things, what do I want my health to look like, right? What do I want my relationships to look like? What kind of work do I need to put in order to get that health? What kind of work do I need to put in to get that relationship, right? How do I truly find myself in a place of presence as opposed to always thinking about what the future holds or shame about the past, right? And so it's like, let's be present with the kids, let's be present with your spouse, and let's focus on doing the things that you can't staff out to other people, right? Like your health isn't one of those things that you can staff out, right? A loving home isn't one of those things that you can staff out. Like those are the things that we should be dedicating our time and our efforts toward.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I think the biggest thing is, though, is, dude, most people, listen, by the way, if you love watches, I do. If you love houses, I do. If you love cool cars, I do. Like, that doesn't mean you can't get these things and shouldn't go after them and shouldn't, like, but I know what I want. And through that discovery of finding out what you want, you're going to find out, more importantly, what you do not want, right? And I think that's so important to understand is like, right now there's so much distraction going on. Where's the attention going, right? Most people, I think the cool thing is, if I was starting this out, Tim, you and I were like meeting someone, we're talking to them, I don't think most people even have a perfect day in mind, right? What's your perfect day look like? Let's start there, right? Because your perfect day we got to reverse engineer it, right? If this is what you want your perfect day to look like, doing what you're doing, you could never accomplish that. So we have to start looking at different pivots, right? My perfect day is I wake up at this. Dude, out in the Hamptons, most people are working out at like 10, 11, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They're not working out at 5 a.m. I'm walking at 6 a.m. Dude, the road is dead. I don't see anybody walk. Like 3 people. That's it, right? Here in Ohio, when I'm doing that, like people just, ants, like busy ants going back and forth. And I'm like, dude, like, what does your perfect day look like? You're only your age. You're listening to us right now once. And you're going to literally let something that someone else has that you think you want going to dictate how you're going to run your day, your life, your life, right? So what does your perfect day look like? What time do you get up? What do you do? Who do you hang out? What do you hang out with? Tim, when you're traveling, you know this, like sometimes you're sitting on the plane and you're just you're just looking out the window.
Oh, dude.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, but again, like what's happening is, there's a lot of like, dude, I wasted time here. I'm growing here. I should be doing it. Like, boredom creates big visions. If you can understand how to constrain, because if not, you're going to hyperventilate and jump out of the plane.
Dude, that's a really good point.
What?
It's a really good point. Like my kids, right? I see them, especially on these trips and stuff. They need to be busy. They need to be doing something. I was like, you know what? It's really good to sit in boredom sometimes. It's really good to just not have stimulation, external stimulation, and let your mind wander. Let your mind think about things. And when I've let them be bored and not touch tablets and not, have an activity planned for them, dude, it's amazing to see the creativity that starts coming out of them, and they figure out a game and they go and run around a little piazza over here. And they dude, I think boredom's a very good thing for all of us. I think our brains need that in order to decompress all that stuff. So a quick aside, but man, I think that's a really, really good point. And you get that a lot by traveling.
Yeah. Dude, again, because you're out of your comfort zone, you're out of your day-to-day routine habits. And there's travel, and you got to drive, you got to move on a boat, you got to go here, you got to go on a train. Like there's just a lot of like weird dead spaces. But those dead spaces, when I started traveling in 05 like that, it forced me to like write, think, read, be very focused on like what I'm trying to do and think, and ask myself, do I really want that? Do I not want that? What about this? Dude, like back to the kids stuff. Like me and Drea, a couple weeks ago, we're laying on the trampoline. And she's like, Dad, I don't know what to do. I'm like, we're going to lay here and do nothing and look at the clouds and tell me what shapes they are, right? Let their imagination run wild. And I don't think most people are dreaming and imagining anymore, dude. I think they're so stuck. I'm like, I got to hustle. I got to make $1 million a day. Cool. Then what? By the way, people that talk like that never do it, by the way, just so we're clear.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to, because you don't know what you're going to do with the money when you get it. Because you're too busy hustling to get it. You don't even have a thought to go do anything with it, right? And this is why most people aren't getting it. So it's this weird dichotomy of how I'm going to get it, why am I going to get it? And I think, dude, I'm telling you, man, I think the reason most people aren't getting it is because they don't know what they're going to do with it. Perfect example, right? This is an interesting framework. If someone came to you and I, Tim, and said, hence why the lottery winners most go bankrupt, because they want it, but they don't know what to do with it when they get it. And by the way, they didn't even have to earn it. They just won it. So the majority lose it. So if that isn't a tell sign, I don't know what is. But like guys that actually work for it and gals, like, what do you, like if I drop $10 million in your bank account today, what do you do with it? Dude, the majority of people have no freaking clue what to do with it. Right? Buy stuff.
Yeah.
Do things like
it would be extremely superficial. It'd be like all surface level stuff. It'd be like, I'd buy this, I'd buy that. And you'd be like, okay, all right. So you dropped $500,000. Now what are you going to do? What are you going to do with the rest of it?
Exactly.
And it's like, you need to understand what you want, because if you had $100 million or if you had $10 million, whatever the level is that you're at, you realize like, that extra money doesn't change my life by buying more stuff. And by the way, to your point before, Mark, it's like, dude, I think everybody should make the most money they possibly can inside the hours they dedicate to economics. Where I think people get messed up, at least, when I'm talking with them and stuff, it's like, you should make as much money as humanly possible, but you shouldn't let making money sacrifice other things in your life, right? Your health, your relationships, your being a great parent, your being a great spouse, or anything like that. I guess is my point when I say that. But coming back to the $10 million, like sitting back with that $10 million or $100 million or $1 billion, whatever level that you're at, and you sit back and you think about, what would I spend that money on, right? How would I allocate that money? You'd run through the material stuff pretty quickly, right? And it would lose a little bit of its luster, I think. And I think you'd probably, what I would think is most people would focus on health and buying back time, right? And buying more time. When you have everything, you can afford anything in the world. The one thing that you can't afford more of is time, health, and attention, right? And so like, how do you buy those things and allocate towards those things? Did you see any of that when you were out in the Hamptons?
Yeah, so dude, I agree with you, but the thing is that you and I know people. There's a guy in Ohio that we know very well, has a lot of money, and he's very unhealthy, very big, very unhealthy. Why the hell? By the way, if he made an extra $5 million, it does not change his life in any way, shape, or form. But he's chasing more money. He's building new companies. He's doing this. He knows he's unhealthy. He's not willing to do anything with it. At the end of the day, I think we have to really understand we only have one body. And more importantly, we have one brain, and we have to start thinking in stewardship mentality. We have to steward this wealth. We have to steward this money. If I give you 10 million, because you talk, let's say they want to go blow 500 grand. Cool. Let's just wait 1 year, park 10 million in the bank at 5%. You just made $500,000. You still have principal of $10 million. If that's not your default thought process, you're a consumer, not a steward. It's a different game.
Yep.
And if you constantly play consumption game, you will lose. You will never be happy because you're too busy consuming content, seeing what other people have, and then consuming your dollars to go buy the shit that they have that they don't even care. You don't even know if they want it. You don't even know if it's real, by the way, right? So there's a shift happening, Tim. Like I was watching the Louis Vuitton stores and the product. Like no one's going in these places, dude, like they used to. There used to be lines. I gotta get the next purse. I got that. And again, if they're into it, cool. But I think people are waking up to it's like, just because this person has what looks like to be a real purse, and maybe they even got it given to them by Louis Vuitton or whoever, I don't need it because it doesn't make me happy. It's pointless. It's ugly, by the way. It's not even nice looking. But like, I got to have it because it's a symbol. It's just, again, this is what I kept seeing. It's more of like, I got to get this purse to get visibility. Do I? Because what I think I see, what I saw there is actually the opposite. They want privacy. They want to blend in. Right, with massive money, and I want to blend in. I think I saw 2-3 exotic cars there. 5 years ago, I saw Rolls Royces, Bentleys, everything crazy. Everyone would be seen. But now it's like the old school Rovers. By the way, these still cost a couple $100,000, but like the Porsches, the old, I'm talking classics, classic cars, not new stuff, not the exotic brand new stuff, the old school classic blend in. I'm on a farm meaning 0.76 acres with a pool, that's their farm. But like, dude, I think we got to be thinking stewardship, right? That's what I'm thinking about. It's like, we got to steward this wealth, right? Cool. We bought the house, we bought the cars, we got that taken care of. Why do I still look sloppy? Why am I still not taking care of myself? Why am I still not happy? What's going on here? You realize it's not the money that's making you happy. It's who you are and the framework you're building your perfect day to get to where you want to go.
Yep. 100%, man. I found that, um, dude, and you see it, it's like chasing goals keeps you excited, right? And then you achieve. It's like, dude, I see my kids yesterday. We got to Venice, and we're in San Marco Piazza, which is like the big plaza here. And dude, there's pigeons everywhere, right? And these kids are running around and chasing the pigeons. And I was like, get ready, because you're not gonna know what to do if you actually catch one, right? Like, wait until you catch one, right? Because they keep on missing them. But I was like, wait until they actually catch. They're gonna freak out because you don't know what to do. And I think it's similar like that with wealth. I think people, they just don't know what to do once they build the wealth and once they have the money. So they just keep on hustling because it's too uncomfortable changing the regime, because it's truly two totally opposite ends of the coin, dude. It's two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yep.
From building wealth to actually sustaining wealth and preserving wealth. It's two very different psychologies, right? It's hustle, take risk, all in on one thing when you're building wealth. And on the opposite side of the coin, when you're preserving, that's when the diversification comes in. That's when you're paranoid about losing principal. That's when you are completely risk averse and you don't want anything to do with risky opportunities, right? It's just like, dude, if it's not a sure thing, you're not doing it. And it's so polar different, especially first generation who go out there and have gone through building it for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And then, and you get into this mindset of like, this is how I go and make money. And then you have it and you're like, now what do I do? Right. I just caught the pigeon. Now I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
And I think that's, part of what you're talking about is like, dude, figuring out what you want and realizing, hey, I made all this money. Now it's almost like I don't want everybody coming out and asking me for money, or I don't know if that's it even, but you don't need the attention anymore, right? Like, you needed the attention because you thought it was a great marketing play and all those things. But I found myself shifting quite a bit over the past 12, 24 months of like, dude, it's one of the reasons I merged and sold my coaching business. It's one of the, I just don't want to be, there's certain things that I want in my life and certain things that I don't want in my life. And some of those things is like, I love the visibility from a great marketing platform and that side of things. But at the same time, like, I like to be unknown. I remember watching Ben Affleck once in an interview, and he's like, and they're asking about being rich and famous. He goes, listen, go for rich. You don't want to be famous, dude. You can't go out to a restaurant. You can't go out to an amusement park. You can't go to the zoo with your kids. You can't do any of the stuff that normal people do because everybody's in your face all the time. It's like, it's not fun. He goes, go for rich. Rich is awesome. Like, rich is fantastic. You should make a lot of money. He goes, you don't want to be famous though. Just, and I don't know if you've ever done this, but have you ever looked at all the people, dude, people that we know, musicians and actors and all those things. Have you ever looked, like, I always look up their net worth, and I'm always like, I wonder what this person, who was on the Avengers, in one of the Avengers movies is worth. I wonder what this person who's an actor on a regular TV series, dude, and they're all worth like $1 to $4 million, right? And that's their total net worth. Yeah. And I'm like, can you imagine everybody being in your shit all the time? Yep. And your net worth is $2 million. I get Taylor Swift. She can go rent out an entire restaurant, right? Like, she has the money to be able to go out and afford to do that if she wants to go out to eat or have private tours of whatever and do things where she can pay for everybody else to not be around her and rent out an entire establishment. Dude, most people or most of these celebrities, like, everybody knows who they are, but they can't afford it. So they Uber Eats every single day. That sounds like a miserable prison to be in. And
I was going to say there. Yep.
Yeah, man. And so, like, dude, go for Rich. And I can totally see the shift of like, dude, moving away from everybody knowing who you are and let me just kind of like have a slow morning. Let me have a quiet cup of coffee without anybody interrupting me at the cafe. Let me go and be able to hang out and watch my kids' game without three other people coming up and asking to take a picture or talk to me about something because they're trying to get something out of me. Like it's, it's, I can big time see that shift happening.
Yeah, no, for sure. The biggest thing, back to this celebrity stuff, remember, they're not there to take pictures of your beautiful day. They're there to capture you when you're at your weakest moment, worst thing you say, dumb look,
Mm.
you look
They're looking for it. Yeah.
goofy, and that's what they're trying to capture, just so we're all very crystal clear. I think also, too, man, when I see this shift happening, the healthier, getting healthier, like if I go to the gym by the way, I'm still working through this in my brain because when I was in there, like, dude, I have to wake up and walk. It's just like, it's my default. I walk 3 miles. Like, it's just minimum 3 miles. It's just something I do, right? It's just kind of just for my mind, just kind of gets me
Hmm.
out, talk to my dad. I walk, I listen, do whatever. Plus, I got to shoot my quick talk from the walk, right? I
Yeah.
can't do it from the bed. Boredom in the bed. What's up, guys? No one's going to watch out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, but today, actually today, I didn't get out of bed till 8 o'clock in the morning. That never happens. Very rarely, I should say. And Drea is like, Dad, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And I told, I was like, I just want to sleep in one time. I don't really like, and give myself permission, right? I don't need to get up in the morning. I want to. And I think
Hmm.
it's a blessing to get up in the morning, by the way, right? Because some people don't wake up. But the health side is interesting because I'm on, I own that, we have this longevity company, and I'm like starting to see the real momentum and like inside of that organization, what people look like, what people think about, what they're afraid of, what they're excited about. And even us, like, dude, like, just because you wake up at 8 does not mean you're not hustling harder or less than I am. There's no right or wrong on the time you wake up, no right or wrong on the time when you go. Like, there's a lot of variables to this story. And more importantly, what do you want? I can't stress that enough. What does one want? Right? And when's the last time you've edited? When's the last time you've evolved? Right, Tim? Just like you said, I woke up, I was looking on that, I was like, I got to sell the coaching company. Most people are just so committed to that piece that they're never going to let it go. Right? And they'll die on a
Hmm.
sword with it, and they'll die in misery. It's like, why? It's not serving me to where I want to go and where I'm going. Why? Like, pivot. Most people aren't pivoting, dude. They're just sticking with what they know. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. Whatever story
Hmm.
they tell themselves. And that's why I love it's new. It's exciting. It's big. It's refreshing. I can do one thing, impact many people. If I dig one ditch, well, I dug one ditch. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, we've talked about that, right? Like, you could dig a ditch with a spoon. You could dig a ditch with a shovel. You could dig a ditch with an earth mover. Which one do you think is going to get the job done quicker? By the way,
Hmm.
it still takes someone to do it,
Yeah. It's
right?
only one person for each
Yeah,
one of those things. It's what's the vehicle that you're in or the tool that you're using.
exactly. But while I'm digging the ditch with the earth mover, I'm going to be thinking about how to build a business where I can hire people to do it for less. Me go get the job. Me do, like so. But that's me. That's the way I think. So you got to
Hmm.
find out where you're at in the journey, where you want to go. More importantly, what would you do when you get it? Like you said, when you
So
catch that pigeon, you're like, oh shit, I don't know what to do now. Well, you just caught a rat with wings. That's what you did. What are you going to do with it? Right.
All right.
So I think a
So
lot.
so so let's do this. What if somebody came to you, right, and they're like, dude, I need some help. I can't figure this out. I'm totally confused. There's just foggy mindset all over the place, and I need some clarity. How would you help them architect what that process looks like? Like, what would be the first thing, you know, uh, asking them layers of why? Would that be number one?
Well, I think everyone asks why, but the problem is you get stuck on it because we kind of don't know why. And then we start thinking too deep about the why and we start making shit up. Why we think the why is the why. What I
Mm,
would really do is start on the opposite side. I'd grab a piece of paper and a pen and ask, what do I absolutely don't want to do genuinely? Right? Not
mhm.
buddy buddy because we're friends and you don't want to look stupid, but I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. I don't want to wake up at this. I don't want to deal with my fucking stupid staff. I don't want to deal like whatever they say, like being genuinely honest with themselves. By the way, I'm not talking about you and I, Tim, about this
Yeah,
staff.
not our staff. Right.
But dude, like people have built stuff lives that they genuinely do
Yeah,
not want today.
I've seen it. Hmm.
Like many people. And you know, okay, cool. Now because again, if I ask you what you don't want, you'll know way more what you don't want than what you do want. Always. I'm telling you, it's kind of because again, we know what we don't know. We know what we don't know. So as we build this, I would start there. And I said, cool, what do you want on your health, your relationship? Do you want to be a better dad, better husband, better brother, better sister? But what do you want? Well, I want to call my dad. A lot of this shit is accomplishable today too. That's what's crazy. When's the last time you called your dad and said, I love you? Well, I want to do that. Well, let's do it now. Why do we got to write it down and think about it? Let's do it. Right? Everyone's waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect time, the perfect thing. Like, I got to have this to do that. Well, maybe you don't. And I'm going to say maybe you do, maybe you don't. But let's write it down. What's your perfect day? Do you want to wake up? You want to like make love, passionate? You might want to do it for like 3 days. After that, you're like, dude, I want to go. I want to go do something else. Like it is what it is. And by the way, your partner might be in the same boat. So these are the things that we need to conversate about, and they change and they evolve. Too much of a good thing, sometimes just too much of a good thing. I don't want to do it all the time. But my perfect day's this, my perfect week's this, my perfect month. By the way, let's start talking about my perfect next 10 years, right? Because we got to start stair stepping. We start laddering these things. I'm 48. I'll be 58 in 10 years. My kids are 10 and 7. Well, in 10 years, dude, they're going to be 20 and 17. That's a way different world for me and the kids. Now what? I'm looking at my wife and saying, I like you or I hate you or I love you. Because it's a different time. We better like each other in 10 years from now. So I probably should start planting those seeds of relationship capital with my wife and talking about love and where we're going, where we're at. What charity do you want to be a part of? What do you want to do with your money with your kids? Because that's what I've seen there is a lot of people are spending $100,000 to take amazing family vacations than to give you $100,000 to go buy your house when you're 22 years old. Right? I'm not going to leave you $100,000. We've talked about this many times. I'm not going to leave you $100,000, Tim. I'm going to take a family trip and create family memories forever. Right? As opposed to just give you 100 G's. Oh, by the way, I might be able to do both.
Yeah.
Right. So, there's these, like, you gotta look at it, and it's a depth perception thing. 1 week, 1 day, 1 year, 1 month, 10 years, 100. What's your, Bobby, as you know, we've had him on the show, 100-year legacy plans they're building. They're building in 100-year terms. That's a different stewardship thought process. Right.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Dude. I think the, couple thoughts on this. One is, like, when I do it, and I love this exercise, and I go through my ideal average day, right? You call it a perfect day. I call it my ideal average day because, dude, there are perfect days. There are perfect days where you go out and you're like, dude, I'm not going to do anything, or I'm going to go hiking in a mountain, or I'm going to just like be out in nature. I'm going to be with my best friends. And that's like, I'm going to do that for 12 hours. I'm going to eat amazing fish tacos down at the water. And I'm going to do that. Like, that's an amazing, perfect day in my mind, but it's not like a day that you can repeat over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? Like, there's, assuming you still want to work, assuming you still have other responsibilities, assuming, your kids have other responsibilities, and whatever that looks like, right? So it's like, what does an average ideal day and an average ideal week look like, is how I usually break it down. But I'm much more optimistic, I will say, when I do my 12-month goals, right? My 36-month goals. I really don't push out 10 years because things change so dramatically.
Sure.
I do have like 25-year goals, I think. Well, I guess it's probably less than that now. It's probably like 15 years or something since I did that. But it's like, what I want things to say, people to say about me on my, at my funeral, right? And this type of a giver, and this type of a charitable soul, and a loyal spouse, and a loving father, and a smart business guy, and a giver, and blah blah, like all those kinds of things. And that's kind of my North Star. And then I break down between now and, hopefully I live another 60 plus years. I turned 41 yesterday, right? And what is 30-year goals or 25-year goals from here and I try to cut it down, and then I break it down into like a 3-year goal of like, where am I sprinting and putting my efforts? And what I will say is this, like, from a realistic standpoint, there was a study that was done, I think it was in Chicago, and it was like on New Year's Day. And on New Year's Day, dude, they had a big white canvas over on this side at one of the major, like Millennial Park or whatever it is. And then they have another white canvas over here. And they gave people green and red markers. And you had to go and write all the things that you expected in the new year, right? And write it, if it's positive, write it with a green marker. If it's negative, write it with a red marker. And dude, it was 90% positive and optimistic. And they had people go and write and reflect on what happened in the past 12 months as well, and with the same thing, green and red markers. And when they looked at both the canvases, again, the new year looking forward was 90% positive, 10% negative, but everything looking back was 50% positive, 50% negative, right? And so we skew our perception on thinking everything's going to be awesome, everything's going to be rosy, everything's always going to be better in the future. But the reality is, right, like the whole Jim Rohn thing is, it's going to be opportunity mixed with difficulty, right? And that's life, dude. That's life looking back. That's life today. That's life looking forward. And you could be optimistic on all those things, but also you could be realistic of saying, hey, there's going to be some good stuff, some ideal average years, and what does that look like? But like, how are we more present today? And that will at least help us live a happier life, or we're not consumed by too much in the future, too much in the past.
Absolutely. Dude, I think the biggest thing you said, though, is like, listen, I think everyone should take time and write their eulogy. Write it, right? There's no one going to say, he's a hustler. He works really hard. No one gives a shit. The only person that does care really is you, truthfully.
Yep.
So that's the only person. Oh, by the way, the person that's telling you to hustle harder is probably hustling less. And they said that 20 years ago before they had kids, and then you still believe them. But and again, we're not saying not to hustle. Be careful what you hustle on. But write your eulogy. Let's reverse engineer where we're all going. We're all going to die. What is it going to happen at that day? What are they going to say? Because that's probably the stuff we should be focusing on, right? Not to say, like, I don't care about leaving money to my kids, grandkids that I'll never, great grandkids that I'll never meet, great. Like, that's not of an interest to me. That's not to say it might not become, but right now it's not. Me and Bobby's talked about this when I'm talking to him. Like, dude, 100 years is a long time. They won't even, dude, you don't have to believe me. Tim, you may know because you're a history buff, but what's your third great grandpa's name? No one knows. No one knows, dude. That's going to be us one day. And we're worried about that generation, that future. Why? Let's think about, like you said, let's slow it down for us today. Be present today with our kids, present today with our family. If you're lucky enough to have your mom, dad, grandparents, all these amazing people alive, why aren't we present now? Why is everyone chasing the future?
Bro, you ready for this one? I was just in Florence before we came to Venice. And have you ever heard of the Medici family?
Of course.
Bro, the Medicis, they were the bankers of emperors, of the Pope, right? Of Vatican City. They created the florin, which was the first currency utilized, right? In between different countries and all these things. Like, they were one of the wealthiest families ever, right? In the 1500s, I think they were 14s, 1500s. How about this for legacy? Massively wealthy. By the year 17, I think it was about 1750, 1760, the bloodline ran out. No more kids. You couldn't even give the money away. Wow. It all just went to the not to the government, but everything got donated by the final female in that family. She just donated everything because she didn't have any kids. There was no other heirs. There was nobody else to give the money to. There's like distant cousins from like the original male who founded it and the patriarch of the family. There's like cousins of his, and so there's still people with the Medici name. But the reality is, you're worried about not you and me, but somebody we might be talking to might be worried about, what does this look like in a future generation of creating legacy wealth hundreds and hundreds of years from now? And the reality is, 250 years after the Medicis, right, were around, their bloodline ran out. The future generation stopped having kids, and all the money just went to donations to the public, which, great. It's a great and cool and noble effort. But the reality is, there's things outside of our control, and like, you're breaking your back and worried about stuff that might not come to pass, right? And usually doesn't come to pass.
Yeah. No, man, I think we got to get real serious about being the present. Like I said, your ideal day, what'd you say, your average day. I don't think anything we do is average, honestly.
Ideal average day.
Yeah, ideal average. Right? I think most of us are doing, again, the days are meant to evolve, right? Some of our best days are the ones that start out as the worst moments, right? In the morning, like, so it's like, what does that look like? And, you got to have both sides of the game to even appreciate what you even have. Because too much of a good thing, you're like, oh, it's just normal. Well, it's not normal. It's normal to us. But I do think, just watching this happen, I do think the health piece, people are getting more involved with their health. They want to take care of themselves better. They want to live longer. They want to do it with their families. This is cool. True story. We were at this little ice cream shop in Sag Harbor, and the mom and the two daughters. The daughter's probably 25 to 30, somewhere around there. Mom's a little bit older, and they're walking. And as they're walking by me, Dina and Drea, as they're, eating ice cream, she's like, Mom, when did we ever stop holding hands? And she held her hand. I was like, huh, when? Right? So what are we doing today? Why are things changing and evolving? Like, a lot of people are doing stuff. They don't even know why they're doing it. Because so-and-so said so, because I watched a social media post and that's how it should be. Why? How do we even know they're happy? How do we know they're not being paid by the brand? How do we, dude, we don't know, nor do I give two shits about.
That's the thing. It's like, why do we fucking care?
What do I want? And I told Dina, I was like, when's the last time you held your mom's hand? When's the last time I held my dad's hand? I don't even know. I was like, Dina, Drea's 7. She's not going to hold my hand anymore. When? Your hand. When? Mark, he sure in the heck ain't holding my hand. Now it's too weird, right? He's 10. But like, why is it weird? Who made it weird? Right? It's not coming from a weird, the people make it weird are the weirdos, right? It's not coming from a weird place, right?
Well, it comes from somebody else who reflects on potentially not having that love or not having that support in their own life. And they feel uncomfortable watching somebody else have love and holding hands and oh, that's weird. No, dude, it's not weird at all, right? Like, I still hold Penelope's hand. She's 11, right? I still hold Hudson's hand. He just turned 9 2 days ago, right? We're sitting on a gondola today, and Annabelle, my 3.5-year-old almost, no, she's over 3.5, almost 4. And she just reaches over, just like lifts up my hand like it was on my leg, just lifts it up and puts her hand underneath it to hold my hand. Dude, it's epic. It's like unbelievable. And it's and speaking, like, dude, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer about 18 months ago, and thank God still around. But dude, we took a walk the other day, and I held my mom's hand the whole time, right? And it's and I vividly remember it because I was like, I couldn't imagine I don't even know the last time I held my mom's hand. And this is something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life, because I don't know how many more chances I get to do that. And, you think back, there was a movie I watched, crap, I can't remember the name of it, but it was these 2 girls and whatever, they were doing mushrooms or something, camping out in the woods. It's a really good movie, actually. And it comes full cycle. She like meets her future self, and her future self is giving her advice and all this other stuff because she's like hallucinating on mushrooms or whatever. And then she meets a boy and all this other stuff. But one of the conversations in there is like, dude, do you remember playing make-believe when you were younger? And like, yeah, of course I do. And the kid goes, do you remember the last time you played make-believe? She's like, no, I don't. And so like, that's going to happen, right? Like we're going to have these memories of things we did, but there's going to be a last time to everything that we do with the people that we love. And it's like, how do we not let that float away, right? How do we sustain that and keep it together as long as possible? And like, you've heard the statistics where, like, when a kid turns 18, assuming they go to college or move out of the house, or just like 90 to 95% of all the time that we spend with our kids is up to the age of 18. We get 5 to 10%, if you're not intentional, at best 5 to 10% more time with them for the rest of your life and their life, right? It's like, dude, if you're unaware of these things and you are not intentionally steering your time and your schedule and your calendar to be there and to be present, to be with the people that you care about, dude, you're missing it. You're missing it in a big way.
Big, dude. I have a rule. Like, if the kids say, let's play, I play. If the kids say, Dad, put me on your shoulder, I want to be on your shoulders, I do that. Like, there's going to be a time when Mark's going to be putting me on his shoulders, right? So we got to be present. Back to this framework. What don't you want? What do you want? There is seasonalities to this structure, right? So I do think the reason most people won't do these things is because their ego is in the way, right? I think most of you guys think you have it figured out. I think most people know deep down inside they know they don't, but they can't show the world that. Hence, they have, the visibility, but what they really are earning for is, dude, I just want to connect deeper with my spouse. I want to connect deeper. Because you asked about this make-believe thing, play make-believe. Dude, I think most people are playing it every day. I think most people are playing it every day. I think they're just playing it in a different way and they're not aware of it, right? I think they're make-believe business owner, make-believe entrepreneur, make-believe great dad, dude, you're a great dad and you're not fucking home 5 days a week. What are you talking about? How are you a great dad? Right? You're a great dad in the moments where you're there. Cool. But why aren't you trying? You got to hustle harder to make more money, and you already have 32 million in the bank. Like, what are you talking about? A great dad, right? To me, that's the ego protecting the stuff like that you've worked hard. And again, as you know, as a dad, dude, we got to sacrifice a lot. And a mom, by the way. No, I'm just saying dad because I'm a dad. I'm not a mom, but like, there's a lot of sacrifice that has to take in. And maybe there's a temporary pause on something because of what we're dealing. Like, there's a lot of variables to the game. I just don't think most people are editing their goals, what they want, what they don't want, and asking themselves, cool, I got it. Now what? Okay, I got a bigger house. I got 17 cars. I got 42 cars. Like, okay, cool. I like that kind of stuff. But like, why am I getting it? What's the reason?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's like, I want to build a badass when I turn, 85, I want to have a 100-car collection I've built over the years and all that. Cool. I love that. But go watch the people that do the car auctions when they sell them. Right? They never really enjoyed them because they're too busy. And then they sell for 500 million, which is cool. But then the kids got the money, not the guy that worked hard to get the money. Like, it's like all this weird stuff, man. I think it's an interesting framework and journey everyone should be doing. I think at least once a quarter, you should kind of reevaluate where you're at, where you're going.
No, I love it, man.
Yeah.
I agree. I would agree with, like, I sit down and I take the entire week between Christmas and New Year's and I do the goal setting, right? And then I revisit that at least every 30 days. I'm reviewing that usually twice every 30, maybe once or twice informally in between, but like formally once every 30 days of just, am I on track to hit my goals? Am I letting things creep in? Have I forgotten certain things? Like, it's just a good constant reminder of how I want my day to look, right? Like right now, going back to, Charleston, when we get back to school in a couple of weeks, dude, my kids, I have 3 kids in 3 different schools starting this coming year, right? Which is totally new to me. And I start waking kids up at 6 o'clock in the morning, taking them to school at 7. My next kid goes to school at 8. My next kid goes to school at 9. That taking the kids to school was always my thing, right? And I got it done in one fell swoop because the nanny would show up and then I take the other 2 kids because they were in school together. And that's very different. It went from a 30-minute, 45-minute type thing to now a 3-hour thing. And dude, I'm not staffing that out. I remember going to one of your first events, maybe a year or 2 in. I was in the warehouse in
Palm Beach.
West Palm.
Yeah.
And one of the guys, he's like, yeah, man, I just, I take my kids to school, but it's like 40 minutes one way, and then I got to drive 40 minutes back, and it's like an hour and a half out of my day. And he goes, I need somebody else to do that so I can get more work done. And you're like, bro, you need to get somebody else to do the work so that way you can go and do that with your kids, right? Like, I would be staffing out the work, not staffing out being a dad. And that hit me hard. And I was like, oh my God, man, that's such a good perspective on it. And I can't wait to spend 3 hours every morning taking all my kids to school, right? Annabelle starts preschool this year, and Hudson's in elementary school, and Penelope starting middle school. And dude, and we don't homeschool, right? Well, I think next year we're
not yet.
Travel. Yeah, exactly. We'll see if we ever come back to this. But dude, I'm excited about it. Like I want to design my life in a way that allows me to spend 3 hours. Like, dude, what a blessing is that? It's not. I don't see this as a difficulty or a hurdle or a headache. Dude, I think this is an unbelievable blessing to be able to design my life in a way where I can spend 3 hours every morning taking my kids to school, and then I go to the gym at 9:15 or whatever, and then I come back and get cleaned up, and I start my work day at 11 a.m. and I work like an asshole until 4 o'clock when the kids get home from school, and not an asshole, but like a psychopath, right? For 5 hours every single day, and obsess, and I make as much money as humanly possible. But who do I need to put in place in order to do that? And how do I need to design my time? And when do I need to schedule my calls and my meetings and all those kinds of things? It's like, dude, if you don't have the intentionality, man, you're missing out. And you really got to sit down and just reflect. Like, what does it look like and what does it not look like for you?
Yeah. No, man, listen, and edit it. Like, it's okay to change. I think that's a big thing too, right?
100%.
Like I get excited,
it evolves.
like you said. Dude, I'm excited that, okay, cool, now I got 3 hours with my kids. I don't see, like you said, I don't see it. Is it an inconvenience sometimes? Of course, but it's an amazing blessing. Like, it's fine. And oh, by the way, it's temporary. It's temporary.
Yeah.
It's like a year, 2 years, 3 years max. It's temporary on the grand scheme of things. In the moment, it doesn't seem temporary, But in the grand scheme of things, dude, you're going to wish and beg for these moments. You don't have to believe me. Go talk to any parent that the kids are out of the house and ask them the moments they wish they had. The kids screaming and fighting before bedtime, combing their hair, brushing their hair, running to sports, running to school. They miss those moments more than anything they'll ever miss. And you have the opportunity, if you have younger kids, to be in those moments, right? So I think re-editing, recalibrating, where you're at, where you want to go, what you want, what you don't want. Dude, I think we need to get real serious about that conversation in all groups. What the hell do you want? And I don't think most people know, dude. I genuinely, I don't. It's a lie. It's a lot of things. I don't think people know, man. I think people are chasing. I think it's going to start. I think there's going to be an evolution where people are really starting to get frustrated with like, oh, that influencer's fake. This person's not real. Oh, by the way, 50% internet now is fake, but it's a fact. It's not a maybe.
Fact.
Like videos and audios and text. I want to be authentic. You mean AI wrote you an authentic post? AI created an authentic video? Like, give me a break. It's the most unauthentic thing you can do, and you want to be authentic. It makes zero sense. But anyways, what are we doing to evolve? I think you're going to see a reckoning where people, like the right people, take foothold and say, enough's enough. I'm me. I want privacy, not visibility. I'm going to do me. And dude, you'll live a happier life, more fulfilled life. And what's even crazier, I know for a fact, when you do that, you'll actually get ultimately what you're trying to get anyways. More money, more things, more free. All this other shit will come because you're literally for real being authentic. Not,
dude, you'll be vibrating at a higher frequency, and all this other good stuff's gonna be coming in your life, man. You're gonna show up better to your relationships. You're gonna be showing up better to your health. You're gonna be looking better when you go walk into a meeting. You're gonna be dressing, feeling more confident. Like, dude, and then all of a sudden the business deals start coming. Everything else comes by focusing on you first and putting yourself in the right mindset, man. Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, hopefully this conversation stirs some of that up. So if you guys are out there and you haven't done this, it's a powerful exercise. Just sit down, take 30 minutes after you listen to this episode, dude, clear your meetings. Nothing's more important than this, right? There's no urgent thing that is more important, that carries more weight than what this can do for your life and how you design what your future looks like. And just, dude, sit back, pencil it all out. What do I want? What do I not want? Where's the overlap? What are the things I love? What are the hobbies I enjoy doing? What parts of my business do I enjoy doing? You know, what would need to move and what puzzle pieces need to go in place in order to then fill in the spots where I don't want to participate in those things, and go through that process and see how it evolves, and continuously review and evolve and say, hey, this worked, this didn't work. And that's totally okay. You try out some new stuff and you constantly evolve, right? And if you're not evolving, that's because you're going extinct, right? So,
yeah, let's do this. If you're cool with it, what I'm going to do is I'll even get myself and the team on our side as well. But what we'll do is check the show notes. We're going to set up a link, and we'll do a show notes where they can we'll build the framework for them and they fill it in.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it.
So get over to the show and click on the link. I forget the website name / whatever, but we'll make sure that you get the link. I'll have the team put it together that when this goes out, and you'll be good to go. And it'll be, you guys, like, just do this exercise. It will make you better. I promise. There's nothing more important than doing this, because this is going to give you a lot of discovery of where you're at and where you want to go.
100%. So appreciate you guys being here. If you guys got some good value out of this, just share it with someone. Again, we're not here to sell anything. We're here to essentially take what we've learned and try to pay it forward. Like, there's a lot of lessons and a lot of things that Mark and I have learned on our journey that we just wish we would have known earlier, right? And if we could have shortcutted this and gotten some of these insights earlier on, and listen, there's some things you're going to have to go through and just mess up on your own, and that's okay too. But if we can help expedite some things and lead you to a happier life, a more fulfilling life that much faster, that's why we're doing it, right? Trying to make a positive impact, because that is what really what matters to me and Mark. So appreciate you guys being here. Just give the show a 5-star review if you would. Please share it with someone who you think would get some good value out of it. And we're here every single week for you guys. If there's any topic you want to hear us talk about, and hear or a great speaker on something, one of these categories regarding people who build wealth and then trying to figure out what's next in life, we'd love to talk with them. Someone who's made a lot of money and really pivoted in a different way, or someone who advises these types of folks, by all means, we'd love an introduction. We'd love to chat with them, interview them. If they're a great potential guest, we'd love to have them on. So appreciate you guys being here. Mark, any closing thoughts?
No, man, get over, get the link, fill this out, report back to Tim and I, attach Tim and I at Mark Evans DM, and at Tim, what's your handle on social?
At Tim Bratz.
Yep, Tim Bratz. So post it, share it with us, let us know what you got going on, and shoot us a message when you get it done, say done, and then we'll know you guys did it. So appreciate you guys being here. Thank you, Tim. Enjoy Italy.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all. See you back in the States side soon.
Let's do it.